State lawmakers say change is coming to the child welfare system after a string of deaths involving prior DCS contact. As for the director of the agency, Kathryn Ptak, we've made multiple requests for an interview and have not heard back. Now we hear from a former DCS caseworker. Discussions on DCS have intensified at the state capitol, surrounding the deaths of 16-year-old Zariah Dodd, 14-year-old Emily Pike, and 10-year-old Rebekah Baptiste. In Rebekah's case, DCS received several reports of alleged abuse and neglect by her father and his girlfriend. Both Richard Baptiste and Anicia Woods are charged with Rebekah's murder, but have pled not guilty, awaiting their trial while in Apache County Jail. Republican State Senator Karen Werner is the co-chair of the Joint Legislative Oversight Committee on the Department of Child Safety and spoke with me in early September following a closed-door meeting with lawmakers, tribal leaders, DCS, and law enforcement to hash out what is wrong with the system. Coming out of this, is it clear that children have been failed by the system?
The system has failed children, absolutely. And when you have kids who are in state care or tribal care, their version of DCS, these kids didn't get there for anything that they did. They were failed by a parent or an adult who abused or neglected or traumatized that child in some way that led them on the path to going into care.
Where are the major gaps in communication with DCS? Because that's who everyone is asking about. What is going on with this agency?
DCS follows rule and law very stringently, and one of the things that I've been having conversations with their leadership is that caseworkers be able to expand and really be able to at least have conversation, ask questions about things that hit their gut, where they're like, I have a feeling here, or I think something is wrong, and go past the check sheet.
Here are some immediate actions to take effect. Clearer rules on how group homes are required to notify DCS and law enforcement once a child runs away. Re-established meetings between tribal nations and DCS, and critical information packets for authorities, essentially a face sheet with a breakdown on a missing child, including kids in tribal custody who have been placed in DCS licensed homes, like Emily Pike, whom the state had no record of when she ran away.
With the tribes now sharing information about a child, it will make it better for them in the way that ensuring that they're getting proper treatment, they have an understanding of the trauma that this child has gone through.
Addressing the issue of child sex trafficking is also top of mind, with more training for group home employees.
One of the things we put into the budget in the 25 session was a appropriation so that DCS group home staff are trained in sex trafficking so that they can see the signs and also have a higher level of awareness of what these children are susceptible to just because of the trauma they've experienced and being in state care.
I've called the hotline probably at least 100 times in my career, and a lot of those calls never got followed up on.
Brooke Shapiro is referring to the 24/7 DCS hotline to report child abuse or neglect. She worked as a DCS caseworker from 2019 to 2022. Between child placements in group homes and foster homes, Shapiro says her caseload was overwhelming. In the state fiscal year of 2025, the average out-of-home caseload per full-time employee was 15. But each case can include several children, Shapiro tells me.
Yeah, at the height, I had 75 kids.
How do you manage that?
Working weekends, working overtime. It got heavy. It's not an easy job by any means. I worked by just scheduling myself as much as possible and trying to keep to that schedule. I knew at the end of the day I would enter my case notes, so I did what I could that day and then enter all the notes so it's all documented.
Why do kids run away?
I think as a teenager, any normal teenager wants to have some control over their life. They want to feel seen and loved and have a space that's their own. So when you're living in a shared room with another minor, that's hard. On top of that, when staff aren't trained or empathetic to a child's trauma, that takes a toll.
She's paid close attention to recent tragedies linked to DCS.
Without a doubt, I think major changes need to happen to the child welfare system, both for the children, for families, for future generations and for caseworkers, honestly. I think I saw a lot of people that really loved making a difference and ensuring child well-being that ended up leaving because it's like the system breaks you down.
In March 2022, Shapiro was burnt out and quit DCS.
I remember one child, she was young, but I had her the whole time I worked there, and she looked at me and said, "But nobody's gonna fight for me anymore."
What would your advice be to current caseworkers at DCS?
Advocate for change. I think remember, no one gets into DCS casework just as a simple job. You get into it because you care. It's hard. It's hard to be in a role as an advocate, as a person that wants good for children and families, and to have to face systemic barriers.
Thank you for watching our special report. I'm Fox 10 Investigator Justin Lum. Good night.